Hi everyone, welcome to Traveling Misknits. My name is Pia and I am so happy that you're joining me here in Italy today for a little chat about yarn and knitting. I am wearing my cat number 7 again today. Today I'm wearing it because it kind of ties into almost all of the things that I'm going to talk about. I will be talking about the whip that will never end. I am going to be talking about stripes, striping 101, if you will, some tips on how to use stripes in your making. And then I have a huge giveaway for a full kit of this beautiful yak and silk from the Danish hand dyer Knitter's World. The very same yarn that I used for this, the original, the prototype of the cat number 7. So stay tuned for that. First of all, I'm going to show you the whip that will never end. It was supposed to be finished today. It is closer to being finished than ever before, which I guess is, well, technically true every week, but today the knitting has been done, the ends have been woven in. The only reason I'm not wearing it is because it's still wet. It's blocking. I have my blocking mats right next to me, but I guess if I'm being just a little bit careful, I can show it even though it is still kind of wet. But yeah, finally it's here. This is the 4th version of my cat number 7 that I made. This is the one that I cast on for our spring knit-a-thon back in March. I actually got quite a lot done on it during the knit-a-thon. I was a little bit concerned. This is worked in 100% cotton, and I was a little bit worried what such an unforgiving yarn would do to my hands and my elbow if I was knitting on it for 24 hours, but it was fine. I was able to actually get past the sleeve openings here, all the way down to where you connect the front and back so that you can knit the body in the round. And then I ran out of yarn. And I knew that that was going to happen. When I planned for this t-shirt, I thought I had 2 balls of the yarn, the black yarn that I was going to make. I did not. I had 1, which was not enough. So I had ordered extra yarn. I knew that it was waiting for me over in Texas. I was going less than a week after the knit-a-thon. So I was like, it's fine. It's no worries. I will just wait and I will finish it when I come over there. And I was so lucky because, as I said, I ran out around here somewhere. And I thought, is the new ball of yarn gonna be similar enough that I can just helical knit it in and that's going to be good. I was thinking about how if it was too different, then I would have to probably add some striping on the main part of the body. I was not crazy about that thought because I really like the stripes that are on the original version. But yeah, I was lucky. When the yarn arrived, or rather when I arrived where the yarn was, I couldn't tell the difference between the ball that I had been using and the new one. I did helical knit just for a couple of centimeters, but to be honest, I don't think there was any reason to do that. It is not visible at all. You cannot tell where I changed from one ball to the other. But yeah, I knit away on it, and I was excited because I was in Texas. It was springtime. This would be perfect to wear. And then I ran out of yarn again. This time I ran out of the brown contrasting color. It was totally my own fault. I don't know what I had been thinking. It was one of those, oh my God, what were you thinking? I only brought what was left of the ball that I used to do the striping up here. And of course that was not going to be enough to finish the ribbing. Of course not. But yeah, once again, it was okay. It is what it is. I knew that I had more yarn at home, so I could just wait and finish it when I came to Denmark. So I packed it in the project bag and I packed it in my suitcase. And when I came home, I didn't want to unpack it. I was like, no, no more. I can't bear looking at that. And also I was working on my reflection shawl, which was just, yeah, I loved working on that one. I cast on my Astrid sweater. Yeah, no, it fell to the wayside. That's what happened. But this week I decided, no, now I'm going to finish it and I'm going to wear it. And I did. Well, I didn't wear it. It's wet. And I am going to put it over on the blocking mats again because it's making my jeans wet. The yarn that I used for it is the rust and the black color. They are Circolo Yarns Anne cotton, which is a mercerized high twist cotton that I love it so much. I have used it for a couple of garments and it's so easy to work with because of the high twist. It's easy to care for. It doesn't grow when you wash it, which is probably due to the fact that it is mercerized. And it holds up really, really well. I love the soft Pima cotton that we sometimes get our mitts on, but in my very limited experience, the Pima cotton, if it's really, really soft, it doesn't hold up as well as a high twist, harder cotton. Also, the Anne has a very, very good price point. So yeah, it's probably it is one of my favorite cotton yarns. It's very easy to work with and very easy to care for. The brown color, I did not have that in the Anne. So I used this Rio from Lamy. It's not a yarn that I have ever used before. It was just what I could find online in a mercerized cotton in the correct weight. But yeah, I have nothing bad to say about this. It's as good to work with as the Anne. The twist is not as high, but it's still a high twist, still easy to work with, mercerized, and I love the color. So yeah, finally, I have a finished cat number 7. Now I just need it to dry so I can start wearing it. I picked it up again, not because I enjoy getting wet, but because there's a little detail that I want to show you, a tip that I want to share with you. Do you see how on this t-shirt, the stockinette stitch of the body goes into a 1x1 twisted ribbing? When you make that transition from stockinette to twisted ribbing, you will very often get holes, a little round of holes over your purl stitches. It is just the nature of the twisted stitch that will create these little holes, but I don't care for them. And I was lucky enough to have one of my testers give me a little tip that I did put in the pattern, but that I'm also going to share with you here in case that you are going to be making this transition soon. When you are transitioning from stockinette stitch into twisted rib, you want to first knit one round on the ribbing needle just to make sure that all of your stitches are the correct size. They're not too big. Then you want to work one round where you knit one through the back loop, knit one through the back loop, all the way around. When you then start your ribbing, you knit through the back loop over the stitches that were just regular knit stitches on the previous round, and you purl over the twisted stitches. That will eliminate the holes. As you can see here, the transition is really smooth and nice. So just a little tip for you if you are transitioning from stockinette stitch to twisted rib, because we often do that, and for some people they're not bothered by the little holes, but I am, and if you are too, you can try the little tip from Sanne. Thank you, Sanne. I love your little tip. And now I'm gonna get rid of this. I have been knitting a lot of stripes this week. I have also been testing out stripes, like wrapping the different colors yarn around a piece of cardboard. I have been ribbing back stripes, and I have been thinking a lot about stripes. So the stripes that I have been making has been for my memory shawl. This is a project that I talk a lot about on my last episode. You can go back and watch if you want to hear some of the thoughts behind this shawl. It is a shawl that I'm knitting in memory of my mom. I picked the colors from the dresses that she wore for my wedding, for my two sons' wedding, and then from her favorite painting. And I also talk about the construction of the shawl. I am working this as a mitered square, but not all at once. I'm working the two sides of the square separately so that I can make them different. And yeah, go back and watch last week's episode if you want to know more about that and hear about the process of finding out how to knit it. Some of you have been asking about instructions on how to work the mitered square in two parts. And actually it's a bit too complicated to just explain here, but I will be working up kind of a recipe for a reflection shawl with some ideas on which situations to use it in and how to work it, how to go about it, and also the basic recipe for just the bare mitered square. So that is coming up. If anyone wants to test the instructions, please let me know, send me an email. My email address is in the description box below, along with links to everything that I talk about on this episode. But yeah, these are the stripes that I finally ended up with, and that took a while. That was, there was knitting, there was definitely pulling back, there was wrapping yarn, there was playing with colors, and it made me think how some people just have a natural eye for colors and stripes. Others of us, we need just a little bit of help. So I thought I would try to share my experiences with stripes so that I might be able to provide a little bit of inspiration if any one of you are struggling with stripes. So basically when we're talking stripes, either we're talking regular same size stripes, just filling out your garment, or we're talking sections of stripes as we see them on the cat number 7 and on the shawl here. For the regular sized stripes, you can choose to go very high contrast, like with all of the black and white, navy and white, or as here, dark gray and white stripes. This is my scrappy triangles, and I did play a little bit around with the stripes. A very simple dark gray and white stripe, but then just adding in a little bit of pink, just for fun, just to give that little bit of tension that always makes a knit more interesting. Stripes our eyes really like stripes because it's recognizable, especially in a high contrast. It's kind of easy for the eye to see what is going on, but then you can create a little bit of tension by disturbing the pattern and forcing the eye to look again rather than just look, oh, that's stripes. You can force the eye to look if you play around with it just a little bit. You can also choose to go with blending a set of colors together. Here on my scrappy stripes, I have blended just 3 colors together, but I have done it in a repeated sequence that, again, this is very calming. This is very easy to look at. You get an impression of a sweater that is just, the colors are blended in very, very well. And then, of course, you can go completely crazy and just put all of the stripes in all of the colors. That is what I'm doing on my Christmas cactus. I don't have it with me, so I'm just going to share a photo. That's actually made to, it's designed to be knit with an advent. So you will have all of the colors, but the way that I have tried to, again, calm it down, make it easier to look at, is by adding a skinny stripe of the main color between all of the larger stripes. Of course, you can just go crazy with the striping, no framing of it, just going at it. For some people, it's really easy to get a wonderful result. For others, it's a bit more difficult, but it's a lot of fun trying, for sure. Another way of working with stripes is how I'm doing it in the cat number 7, how I'm doing it in the shawl, is to have stripy sections on your knit. What you want to take into consideration is that the stripy section works as a stripe in and of itself. So this is one stripe, so to speak, even though that it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4 stripes. It works as one stripe on the finished garment, and then there's another stripe down here at the bottom. So you want to think about where you place your stripes, your stripy sections. And then, of course, you also want to think about how within the stripy sections you want to play with the colors in there. And one method that I always use is one that I have learned from my friend Ina. She and I share a podcast in Danish. For the knitathon, we did do a special episode in English where Ina actually talks about her method of placing random stripes. It is, I am going to link that episode below if you want to hear her talk about it. I'm also going to link one of her scarf patterns, the Pist Væk scarf, because in that pattern she also writes about this theory on stripe placement. It's called the laws of near and far, and the idea is that stripes that you place close together, they will tend to work as one stripe. The eye will, when the eye looks at the cat number 7, it sees a stripe, a big stripe, and a stripe. And yes, there are smaller stripes within the stripes, but because they're placed close together, the eye will rest in the fact that here we have a stripe. So what you want to do is look at the entire garment and place your stripy sections according to the law of near and far. And then you want to look at each individual section. So for this shawl, I had to, and I showed that on the last episode, I had to make a lot of smaller samples to see where should the stripy sections be placed to give a good rhythm to the finished shawl. And then when I had found the placement of the stripy sections, I was then working with figuring out how to place the stripes within these sections. And again, I used the laws of near and far. So I have these sections that are repeated throughout the stripy section. I also, for this one, decided to mirror it. That took me a while, but yeah, if you mirror a randomly striped section, that's also going to be very pleasant to look at. But within this stripy section, you can see how, because these two, the pink and the red, they're the same color family, so they're gonna work as a sort of background color, and then the little stripy sections are gonna be working as stripes on this background of a red-toned main color. I really like to have this this law of near and far in the back of my mind, so that I can use it, or I can step away from it, consciously stepping away like I did when I decided to mirror it. But it really helps me, guides me when I am working with stripe placement, because nothing is more difficult than making things look random. We all know that. It's much easier to do something symmetrical even, but making something that is supposed to look random is very, very difficult. But with the law of near and far, you're actually you do have some help, some background in how to place your stripes. Now that we have talked about the stripes, I want to show you how far I actually got on the shawl itself. I am not almost done, but kind of almost done with the first section. I just need to decrease out these stitches, and then I am done with the first section, and I can start working on the second section. And it's a joyful knit for sure. It's a soothing knit. It is, as I said, knit in memory of my mom. And I find myself becoming a little girl, being surrounded by my mom, being held by my mom as I sit and let the stitches flow from one needle to the other in a steady, soothing rhythm. Yeah, I am really, really enjoying this process. It feels like closure. It feels like an offering of all of my memories, good and bad, putting them into this shawl, allowing everything to rest here, and I am really enjoying it. I am working with some Holst Super Soft. I'm knitting it on needles 3.25. And it does give quite an open fabric, as you can see. But because it is Holst Super Soft, this is going to bloom a lot with blocking. The Holst Super Soft has a bit of oil, spinning oil in it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to wash it in very, very warm water. I'm going to soak it for a long time. I'm probably going to repeat that process a couple of times until all of the spinning oil is out and the fibers of the wool can really bloom. I know that the red color here, the Venetian red, that's going to bleed. Red colors often do that, as does turquoise or greenish colors. So I think I will start by just letting it sit in a bucket with running cold water, just to get any extra dye out. Then I'm gonna let it soak in some vinegar or some citric acid, again to try to set the colors. And I'm probably also gonna add a color catcher when I move on to the hot water with a bit of wool soap in it. And just a little word of warning. The things that will make wool felt, there are three basically. It is soap, it is the change between cold and hot water, and it is movement. So you can get away with soaking your woolens in extremely hot water as long as you don't touch it and you use wool soap. But the most important thing is no touching. Just place your knit on top of the water and walk away. Water will soak up and pull the knit down in time. You don't touch it. I, of course, need to be careful because I said I first wanted to run it with some cold water to try to get some of the excess dye out. What I then want to do is gradually, I'm going to let it reach room temperature and then gradually allowing the water to get more and more warm. I don't think I'm going to dry it in between. I think I'm just going to be very, very careful that the temperature changes are gradual, and again, that I don't mess with it. I don't touch it. I don't move it around at all. But yeah, I still have a lot of wonderful knitting time in this memory shawl. So how to block it is not a concern for right now. Right now, I'm just gonna be enjoying knitting every memory I have of my amazing mom into this shawl. I just want to quickly show you my astrid. I haven't done a lot on it, but I have done a single pattern repeat here. Wow, sun is coming out now. A single pattern repeat after joining the body under the arms. Then I got stuck because this sweater is A-shaped, which means that you work some increases after separating body and sleeves. And I didn't notice that at first glance. I just made sure, because I am recalculating the whole thing to fit with my gauge, I just made sure that I landed on a stitch count that would work with all of the different charts for the body. But no, nothing is that simple. So I have had to redo one of the charts, adding an extra stitch to it. That was pretty simple. It's not going to show. It's still going to look like the Astrid sweater. But just so that I could make my make my increases smoothly and have the pattern repeat fit all the way around the body. I am going to make just a small modification. I want this to be slightly longer in back. I prefer most of my sweaters to be just a little bit longer in back because I move around and I don't want to have my backside exposed when I do that. So as I'm working the body, I am gonna add short rows in between the pattern repeats. There's some rounds of just main color, and in some of those I am gonna do a set of short rows on the back just to lower the back a little bit. But yeah, not a lot of knitting, but a lot of thinking and a lot of mathing, which, I mean, that's also fun. The last thing that I have for you this week is something that I am so excited for. I am so happy and so grateful that I'm able to be giving away a kit for the cat number 7 to one lucky winner. This yarn is so amazing. It is yak and silk. It is so soft. It is buttery soft. It has a beautiful drape and it has the sheen of the silk. It's like the yarn glows from the inside. For my cat number 7, I have used the undyed dark and the undyed white, and then I have used the colorway Guld og grønne skov. But you get to choose your colors. If you are the lucky winner, I will put you in contact with the dyer Bettina, and you can figure out what colors you would like your cat number 7 to be. If you don't have the pattern for the cat number 7, I am gonna throw that in. If you already own that pattern, you can let me know which of my other patterns you would like, and I will get that out to you. But yeah, I am gonna pull a winner from this week's episode. Comment below. Any comment will enter you to win the yarn kit. That was it for the creative content this week. Thank you so much for watching. For life in general, well, Peter's been away. most of the week. He's been in Dubai for some work, and we have this saying in Danish that when the cat is out, the mice will play on the table. In this case, there's only one mouse. It's a rather large mouse, and it doesn't play, it knits. It knits its little heart out, and yeah, the mouse really loves it. I have been knitting, I have been napping, I have been watching way too much crappy television. It's been a lovely week, but I am missing him, and I am really looking forward to him coming home tomorrow. I have actually also been out walking. I do try to walk every morning, but for the past many weeks, it just hasn't happened. We've been super busy. But this week, I've been out every morning on my walk and knit. They're over here. So there was a little bit of knitting. I've been picking up my Spring Sister socks. I do not knit very fast when I walk in nature. It's much easier to knit and walk on a treadmill, but it is so much more pleasurable to do it outside. We do live in a very beautiful spot. We do live on a mountainside, so everything is just breathtaking views and lots of beauty. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to the channel. It does help the channel so much. If you found inspiration, maybe you want to give the video a thumbs up. If you start playing with the stripes, maybe you want to post a picture on Instagram and just notify me. I love seeing the stripes that people come up with. Stripes to me is an endless source of inspiration. I will be back again next week. Until then, stay happy, stay safe, and keep knitting.